you. Colin McNamara. Good evening, Mr. McNamara.
Good evening, all. Happy New Year. Get well soon, Mayor Moran. Just want to give you like an update. Last month I talked briefly on.
For the record, sorry.
47 Grandview Street. Last month I talked briefly on the fact that the town's health department and just the town social media pages in general have been continuing to promote everyone to get their vaccines and boosters for COVID. So this is like a vaccine insert that's in the package for a single shot, Shingrix. And still, this is 2 years on. This is the bivalent booster. I just picked up the CVS on South Main Street today. The safety data is still completely blank. It says intentionally blank because the bivalent booster was only tested on 8 months before it went to the public, which is comforting. So it's just, you guys are kind of the test. And I wish instead of promoting liability-free pharmaceutical products, the town would just let people make their own medical decisions without the constant whispering in your ear. Also, I wanted to talk about the repurposing school report and, from the committee and how we hired Meraj Consulting. Their logo is a little like stylized flame, which is fitting because this thing belongs in a fire. Anytime you hear the words like transformative or reinventing or reimagining, it's almost a guaranteed clue that it's going to include a bunch of Marxist trash in it. And, like people say that might be harsh, but this entire document is a word salad of jingoism and trying to tokenize people into certain categories. There's nothing unifying about it at all. I've attended, I think, 3 out of the 4 community events where they asked for public feedback. And in this document, it says that 90% of the people that did attend were white, which I wouldn't say is unfortunate, but it's too bad that more people that lived in the neighborhoods where the schools used to service weren't present. And that's a failure of the town's get out the messaging, because I didn't see much signage. And I know a lot of the neighborhood people that did come say they'd never been contacted. They just heard about it last minute. But you guys only sampled 525 people, according to this, it's in here. 225 of them white, 180 black, 72 Latinx. I don't know any Latinx people. I don't think many people that are Latino identify as Latinx. This is just another nonsense term that people make up to sound smart. And then 29 South Asians. There was an oversampling of trans residents, 37 trans residents, which accounted for 7% of the sample. I think trans residents or trans people in America is like 0.3%. So according to the town's definition of equity, the resources should be allocated based on percentage of people that are present, and it should reflect that. I don't understand why 7%. You got more. The South Asians must be really pitching a fit right now because you sampled more trans people. There's got to be more South Asians than trans people in town. But it's at the meetings that we went to with the community, different people had different ideas about how to get the message out, and some of them were like send messages back with kids with the report cards because lots of kids are in school and write to their parents, or maybe put in a water bill. That was all fell on deaf ears. When we asked, because we were told that it was community engagement events, I never had seen any of them. I go to a lot of town events. But when I asked where they might be, Director Munis Pullman said that they were sampling a lot of people at Squire Village, which Squire Village was never serviced by this school systems, Washington, Hathan Hale, or Robertson. No kids from Squire Village ever went to those schools. It's a different zone. So what you're doing is you're oversampling minorities on purpose to get the statistical data you want to promote a message that's more aligned with Marxist values than American values. And some of this document says like you want to have places that like provide gender affirming care in these school buildings on page 8, bottom of the page. It also said the number one reason people wanted the schools to be retrofitted was to create community cultural centers that reflected their values and their skin tones. And they wanted them staffed by people that were matching their skin tones. And if you want to have an ethnic group have a club, that's fantastic. They have West Indian clubs, they have African American clubs, they have Italian American clubs, they have French American clubs, Irish American clubs. Those are all private things that people do, and their communities build. Like in town, we have the Bangladeshi Baban Center. That's fantastic. I'm really happy for those folks. They did it on their own. The town doesn't need to be supporting individual cultural centers for individual ethnic groups. It's not appropriate. It also talked about how their focus was really to get the input from marginalized communities. So again, it's not like you wanted to find a cross-segment of, people that represented Manchester holistically, which is another great buzzword that's in here. But you just wanted to have people that reaffirmed your predetermined outcomes. All right, see you next month. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Mr. McNamara.